Grab the zipper at your hip and pull it to the top of the frame. That sound, that long, steady zip from floor to ceiling, is the sound of a room appearing around you in under 90 seconds. You are standing inside a shelter that was not here 2 minutes ago. Walls, ceiling, floor, a door you just sealed shut, and the wind that was cutting through your jacket cannot reach you. Here is a number that should make you sit down. A tiny home built for an unsheltered person costs $20,000 to $25,000 and takes months. A camping tent costs $40 to $80 and does almost nothing in wind or cold. The shelter you are standing in costs $350. It is insulated, windproof, waterproof. It has a zippered door that closes from the inside. It pops open in under 2 minutes and folds into a bag you carry with one hand. It was not designed for homelessness. It was designed for something harder. It was designed to keep a man alive on a frozen lake in a blizzard. It is an ice fishing shelter, and it is the most underused piece of emergency housing in this country. My name is Glenn. I come from a fishing and trapping community on the Iron Range of northern Minnesota, where the lake freezes 3 feet thick by December and you either learn to live in the cold or you leave. I am 62 years old. I have been setting up and sleeping in portable shelters on frozen water for 41 years. My father did it. His father did it before him. We call it zipping in. It is the last thing you do every night. I call people who believe warmth only comes from a furnace inside a permanent building furnace people, and I do not mean it unkindly. But a furnace person hears tent and thinks flimsy. This is not a tent. It is a portable insulated room. By the end of this, you will know exactly what to look for, what it costs, how it works, and why Denver, Colorado sheltered over 240 people with these shelters at under $400 each, while other cities spent $25,000 per unit building tiny homes that did the same job. And I am going to tell you why you have never heard of this. Do not walk away. Let me start with what most folks get wrong, because this one mistake is why people dismiss the whole idea. Most people think the reason a tent fails in cold weather is that it is made of fabric. That is wrong. The reason a tent fails is that it has one layer. One thin wall between you and the air. Your body heat passes through that single layer as fast as it is produced, and the wind strips it away from the outside. You might as well be wearing a bed sheet. An ice fishing shelter is built with 2 or 3 layers of quilted fabric with dead air trapped between them. Dead air is the key. Still air that cannot move is one of the best insulators known. It is the same principle that makes a down jacket warm. The feathers do not heat you. The tiny pockets of still air trapped between the feathers do. A 3-layer quilted ice fishing shelter works exactly like a winter coat wrapped around a room. There is a technical term for this. Textile engineers call it quilted thermal barrier construction. You do not need to remember that. You need to know that the quilted walls of a good ice fishing shelter hold 10 to 25 degrees of warmth above outside temperature from body heat alone, with no heater. At 20 degrees outside, the inside sits at 30 to 45 degrees. That is the difference between hypothermia and sleep. Now here is the hard fork. You need an insulated hub-style shelter, not a standard pop-up camping tent. They look similar from the outside. They are not similar at all. A pop-up camping tent has a single-wall shell, flexible fiberglass poles, and a rainfly that does nothing for wind or cold. An insulated hub-style ice fishing shelter has a quilted multi-layer shell, a rigid steel hub frame that locks into shape, and fabric rated for sustained winds above 35 miles per hour. The camping tent collapses in the first real gust. The ice fishing shelter was designed to stand on an open frozen lake where there is no windbreak for miles. That is the engineering difference. And the price difference is only about $200. This is why people buy a cheap tent, watch it shred in a storm, and decide fabric shelters do not work. They bought the wrong one. Here is your list. 1 insulated hub-style ice fishing shelter, 2-person or larger, from any sporting goods store or general retailer, $250 to $400. 1 foam sleeping pad or air mattress, $15 to $30. 1 ground tarp, 6 by 8 feet, to set underneath as a moisture barrier, $5 to $10. 1 battery-powered LED lantern, $5 to $10. Total cost is under $450. Everything folds into a single carry bag that weighs under 30 pounds. Here is how you set it up. Step 1. 60 seconds. Unpack the shelter from its bag, set it on flat ground, and push the hub arms outward until they lock. The whole frame pops open like an umbrella. Step 2. 30 seconds. Stake or weight the corners with rocks, bricks, or bags of dirt. On concrete, set weights inside against the base of each wall. Step 3. 20 seconds. Lay the ground tarp inside, then the foam pad on top. Step 4. 10 seconds. Zip the door closed. Total setup time is under 2 minutes. Now listen closely. Face the zippered door away from the prevailing wind. The quilted walls handle wind from any direction, but the zipper seam is the weakest point for drafts. Door downwind. That is the placement rule, and it is the single thing that separates a warm shelter from a cold one. For scaling, Denver placed these shelters on fenced lots with shared services and sheltered over 240 people across 3 sites at under $400 per unit. A church parking lot can hold 8 to 12 of them with room to walk between. A single congregation with $4,000 can shelter 10 people by next weekend. Now, let me be honest, an ice fishing shelter is not a building. In sustained wind above 50 miles per hour, any fabric shelter strains at the seams. In summer heat above 90 degrees, the insulation works against you and the interior gets hot unless you open the vents and the door. The quilted fabric will eventually wear at the fold points if it is set up and taken down daily. Used as a semi-permanent shelter left in place, it will last 1 to 3 seasons depending on sun exposure and weather. It does not lock. The zipper closes, but anyone can open it from outside. That is a real limitation, and I will not pretend otherwise. For security, you need a site with a fence, a gate, or a community watch. Anyone who tells you an ice fishing shelter replaces a building is selling something. But anyone who tells you it is not better than a $40 tent, a tarp, or a doorway has never stood inside one at 15 degrees and felt the wind stop. The safety rule is the same as every enclosed shelter. No open flame inside, no propane heater, no cooking, no candles. The quilted fabric is treated for water resistance, not fire resistance. A propane heater in a sealed fabric room is a carbon monoxide trap and a fire waiting to happen. Battery light. Body heat, extra blankets. That is how you stay warm inside one of these, and it is enough down to about 10 degrees with a rated sleeping bag. Now you are thinking, if this is so obvious, why is every city not buying them? I will tell you why. Now I want to take a moment because this is the part that matters. Follow the money. A tiny home costs $25,000 per unit. An architect designs it. A contractor builds it. A consultant studies the site. A foundation is poured. A permit is filed. Every one of those steps has a fee and a vendor. An ice fishing shelter costs $350. You buy it at a sporting goods store. You carry it to a lot. You pop it open. There is no architect, no contractor, no consultant, no permit fee. Nobody profits from the cheap version except the person standing inside it. So the cheap version does not get studied. It does not get proposed. It does not get funded. And 700,000 people sleep outside tonight, while the $25,000 version sits in a planning document, and the $350 version sits on a shelf next to the fishing rods. My father was the one who taught me to zip in. He fished every winter on the same lake, in the same shelter, for 30 years. He had a way of checking the hub arms before he opened it, running his thumb along each joint to feel for a crack that I still do every time. He told me once, the lake does not care what you call the thing you are sitting in. It cares whether the wind can reach you. If the wind cannot reach you, you live. If it can, you do not last the night. An elder in our community, a man we called Nils, said it even plainer. He said a wall is a wall whether it is made of logs or fabric or steel. The only question is whether it stands between you and what is trying to kill you. And if it does, it is a home. Here is what I want you to do this week. Go to any sporting goods store or retailer and look at the insulated ice fishing shelters. Find one rated for 2 people or more. Check that it has a quilted multi-layer shell, a steel hub frame, and a zippered door. Buy it for under $400. Pop it open in your yard. Step inside. Zip the door. Feel the wind stop. And by next weekend, you will understand something that ice fishermen in my community have known for generations and that no housing committee has ever put in a report. That a warm, dry, windproof room can appear in 90 seconds, fit in a bag, and cost less than a month of shelter beds. Tell me in the comments, have you ever seen an ice fishing shelter set up and walk past it without realizing what it could be? Does your city or your church have a flat lot that could hold 10 of them? And if you have slept outside in the cold, what would a windproof room with a zipper door have meant to you that night? I read every reply, and it is your answers that keep me zipping in and coming back here. Next time I am going to show you how to build an insulated floor platform for one of these shelters using 2 sheets of rigid foam board and a piece of plywood. 3 items under $25 and 1 layering trick my father used on the ice that turns the floor from cold to warm in 5 minutes flat. That is next week. Keep your hubs locked, keep your zipper tight, and remember, everything you need to shelter was already known by the people who worked with their house.